My name is Clara. I'm 28. And right now, I'm staring at a photo of my sister smiling at an award show, wearing the dress I designed, standing in the spotlight I nearly died trying to reach. And all I can think is, I would have given her anything, but she took everything from me instead. The sleepless nights, the years of work, the friendships I sacrificed, all vanished because my sister decided that my success didn't fit her brand. She sabotaged my dreams so hers could look bigger. And the worst part, I let her. I trusted her. Before I dive into this story, I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Drop your location in the comments below. Hit that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe to hear more stories about standing up for yourself when it matters most. Now let me take you back to how this all began. The day I got the email about the promotion, I was in my favorite coffee shop, sipping a caramel oat latte, staring out the window like I had every morning before work for years. I remember blinking at the screen 3 times just to make sure. I wasn't dreaming. We're thrilled to move you into a senior creative role. Let's discuss next steps on Monday. It was everything I'd worked for. Years of late nights, missed birthdays, countless sketches and revisions. It had all led here. I clutched my phone, barely breathing, and dialed the one person I thought would scream with me, my sister, Liana. She answered on the second ring. Her voice was light and sleepy, even though it was already 10. "Clara, what's up?" "I got it," I said, barely able to contain myself. "The promotion, it's real." There was a beat of silence. "Wait, seriously?" "Wow, that's amazing." Something about her tone stuck in my chest. It wasn't disbelief. It was dull, flat, like she was already trying to downplay it. I brushed it off. She was probably just tired. I didn't notice the cracks back then. Or maybe I didn't want to. We'd always had this unspoken balance. I was the brains, she was the beauty. I built from the ground up. She floated into places with charm. She never needed to try, and I never needed the spotlight. That's how we made it work. Or so I thought. The week leading up to my presentation was a blur. I poured everything into it, nights tweaking colors, fixing transitions, building the case for a project I knew would change the company. Liana came over twice that week. The first time, she brought her dog and left crumbs all over the rug. The second time, she asked if she could borrow one of my jackets for a photo shoot. I barely noticed her snooping around my laptop. I was too focused. Too naive. Then came the big day. I was dressed in navy, my slides polished to perfection. But when I plugged in the file to start the pitch, everything was wrong. Slides missing, graphics corrupted, videos wouldn't play. It was a disaster. I fumbled through it, sweating. Bullets, trying to hold on to the momentum, but I could feel the shift in the room. My boss's face turned from curious to concerned. My voice cracked. I barely finished. Afterwards, I cried in the bathroom stall for 10 minutes straight. I convinced myself it was a tech glitch. Maybe I saved it wrong. Maybe I didn't check the format. I blamed myself and Liana. She texted, "You'll bounce." "Back, sis, maybe it wasn't meant to be." That night, she posted a video from a sponsored event, smiling into the camera, hair curled perfectly, tagged in 5 different brand accounts. I stared at the screen, my failure echoing in my bones. While her success danced effortlessly through filters, I didn't know it yet, but this was the beginning of a slow unraveling. The start of a truth I wasn't ready to see, that the person I trusted most wasn't just watching me fall. She was holding the scissors. She said her phone was dead. I remember her laughing at some video, casually browsing. I hadn't thought anything of it. But now, it made my skin crawl. I didn't want to believe it. She was my sister, my only sister. Sure, we had our spouts growing up, but we loved each other. We supported each other. She cried with me after Dad's funeral. She stayed up helping me pack when I moved into my first apartment. She always said, "We're ride or die, remember?" But that night, sitting alone with my laptop open, I couldn't stop shaking. A chill ran through me as I opened the file. History and scanned the logs. Some files were accessed at 2:13 a.m., then again at 2:25. Modified thought my heart was pounding. I clicked into one corrupted video file. It was just white noise now, unusable dot, and then I noticed something else. The automatic backup I had scheduled never happened. The sync was paused dot, someone had manually stopped it. I stared at the screen, unable to move. I wanted to scream, to cry, to call her and demand answers. But all I did was sit there, cold and silent, watching the little spinning wheel on my screen. I think in that moment, I knew, and I think a part of me still hoped, desperately, foolishly, that I was wrong, that there was another explanation, because if it was true, if Liana really had done this, it would mean everything I believed about us was a lie. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I spiraled quietly. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating. My thoughts became a loop of questions I couldn't shut off. Why would she do it? Was I missing something? Was I just paranoid? But deep down, my gut knew. And your gut never lies. It just whispers what your heart isn't ready to hear. I started pulling apart my memories, rewinding through our recent conversations like an investigator on a cold case. I remembered how oddly interested Liana had been in my upcoming pitch. Not supportive, probing. So what exactly are you showing them? Do you think they'll actually approve something that bold? I thought she was just curious. But now, her questions felt like reconnaissance dot, and then there was the comment she'd made after the disaster. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. Not a hug, not encouragement, just a passive brush off wrapped in faux sympathy. That wasn't the Liana I thought I knew. Or maybe that was her and I'd been blind for too long. Still, I needed proof, real proof. Because no matter how much the dots connected, accusing someone, your own sister, of sabotaging your career without evidence, that wasn't something you could undo. Dot. I spent the next few days combing through everything. I got Ava to help me access the full metadata logs. I went through timestamps, file changes, and sync statuses until my eyes were red and burning. Each breadcrumb led me closer to a sickening picture. My files had been deliberately tampered with, and the timing lined up exactly with Liana's visit, but one thing still nagged at me. Why? Why would she do this? She was doing fine, better than fine. She had over 200K followers, brand deals, press features. I was proud of her, even when she posted obnoxious things like, "Success hits different when you're self-made." I never competed with her. I never resented her. At least, I thought I didn't. And that's when another memory surfaced, something I hadn't thought about in years. Back in college, I landed an internship at a fashion house. It was a small gig, but prestigious. I remember Liana crying when she didn't get picked for a casting around the same time. She accused me of hogging all the attention. I thought it was just one emotional outburst, but maybe it wasn't a one-off. Maybe it was a crack in the mirror I'd been too afraid to look at. Still, doubt clung to me like fog. I kept asking myself, what if I'm wrong? What if this is just some freak accident and I'm pinning it on her because she's the easy target? That thought haunted me more than anything, until one night, everything changed. We met up for dinner, a casual sister catch-up at our usual rooftop spot. She was all smiles and effortless charm, complaining about a brand that sent her the wrong size and laughing about some influencer drama. I was quiet, studying her, watching her hands, her eyes, the way she deflected any question about me, and my work. You okay? She asked mid-sip, setting her wine glass down. You've been kinda, I don't know, Off, I forced a smile. Just tired. Maybe you need a vacation, recharge, step back and let life flow a bit. She winked. You take things too seriously. There it was again. The same undertone she always used when trying to make my ambition feel like a flaw. Maybe, I said, twirling the rim of my glass. But I'm thinking of installing a few security cams at my place. Just to be safe. Things feel off lately. Her expression didn't falter, not exactly. But something flickered, a microsecond of tension in her jaw. A breath she held a moment too long. Creepy, she said lightly. What are you expecting? To catch ghosts or something? I just smiled back, tilting my head. Or maybe just catch a rat in the kitchen. Her laugh was too high dash pitched out after that night. I stopped second-guessing myself. If she felt cornered by a simple mention of a camera, then maybe she had a reason to feel that way. And if that reason had anything to do with what I feared, then I needed more than logs and hunches. I needed to catch her red-handed. The idea came to me like lightning the next time she asked to stay over, which she often did, under the guise of bonding or using my place as a photo shoot set. I'd be ready. I'd place a hidden camera in the corner of my workspace, angled just right to capture the screen and the desk. Nothing flashy. Just enough dot I ordered the camera that night. Sleek, discreet, motion triggered. It arrived 2 days later dot, and then I waited. I didn't tell anyone. Not Ava, not my friends, not even my journal, just me. And the growing silence between who I thought Liana was and who I feared she had become dot. It's been a year since the video leaked, the one that showed my sister, my own blood mocking. Me behind closed doors, bragging about ruining my big break because Clara needed to learn her place. The one that blew up faster than I could have ever imagined. Millions of views, hundreds of thousands of comments. And 1,000 versions of me, the victim, the villain, the hero, dissected by strangers on every platform. But here's what. No one saw what it cost me to tell the truth. People think justice feels like a parade, like victory music and viral headlines. It doesn't. It feels like standing in the middle of a room that used to be filled with love and realizing you're the only one left. Liana denied it at first, said the clip was edited out of context, that I was bitter and desperate for attention. But the timestamps, the IP logs, the digital footprint, they told a story that couldn't be swept under a filter. Brands dropped her. Her following split into our family. Torn our mother begged me to retract my post. Said I was being cruel. Said sisters forgive, but that's the thing. I have forgiven her 1,000 times over for 1,000 smaller betrayals I never named. This wasn't about revenge. This was about reclaiming my story before someone else sold it in prettier packaging. I left the firm, started my own studio. Small, quiet, nothing flashy, but mine. Every design, every late night, every client mine. I launched with 0 followers, and a heart that still trembled every time I posted something new, but slowly, steadily, people came. Not because I had perfect skin or perfect angles, but because I had truth. And in a world built on filters, that's rare enough to matter. I haven't spoken to Liana in 6 months. Sometimes I still type out a message and delete it. Sometimes I still dream of us as kids, in bunk beds and birthday dresses, giggling under the covers. I don't hate her. I just don't know her anymore. Or maybe I finally do. People always ask me now, what would you say to her if she walked in the door today? And I think I'd just say this. You didn't have to break me to shine. There was enough light for both of us. Because now I know the real spotlight isn't something anyone can take from you. It's something you carry inside. And once you stop dimming it for others, it can light up the whole damn world.